There are two powers in the world. One is a sword, the other is a pen. There is also a third stronger than the both. That is of a woman. All right, that's a powerful quote from Malala. And if you understand what it means, you understand that the power of a woman is a big one, which is why the United Nations set aside today, this month, to celebrate the women. They're not the only one who set aside special places, special events, special activities for the women. NTA also recognizes the importance of women, the strength of a woman, which is why they have given us graciously this lovely, platform to ensure that women are heard. Women find expression to whatever is bothering them. And when I say us, women, I mean me and my friends. Hello, good day.
Hello.
Hello. You're so happy because it's Women's Month,
Oh,
right?
yes, I am. I am very happy.
I see that. Hello, Pinky Lady.
Well, hi, everyone. It's good to be here.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. It's good to be here.
All right, Coach Didi, what are you planning for the Women's Day?
Well, I don't even know. To be honest, I have so many speaking engagements. I'm speaking about women and self-care, women and mental health in many organizations.
I'm looking forward to it, really, because I think I'm attending your function just once, and it was very impactful. I'm looking forward to another one. Now, when I say you know, it simply means that some people know, some people refuse to know, and some people really do not know. One of those who know is the NTA Programme's Directorate, the women. They understand what it takes to be a woman. They understand what it takes to work hard, which is why not too long ago, to celebrate the women within the program's directorate, they had a beautiful get-together. They danced, they had fun, and as they did that, the men were not invited, so to speak, but we told them they could hang around. Unfortunately, they did not obey us. They still broke down into the hall and enjoyed the game with us. But then, if you're spelling women, you cannot do that without the word men. Women is WOMEN. So that's why whatever we do, the men must carry along. But that being said, we all know that, a lot of times, issues around women, it's very particular. We're told to do certain things that other people are not doing. We're told to behave this way when other people are not doing it. What's your take on it?
You see, it saddens my heart when I hear people say that women are secondary. Women are meant to worship, and growing up, I grew up in an environment where it was a funny environment. But luckily for me, I had a father who always told me that being a woman does not mean you should be under. People are misunderstanding what a woman is. A woman is a helpmate, whether it's a wife or any other thing. And it's getting worse now because everybody say when I'm talking, you should be quiet. No. And I always tell the opposite sex, you don't earn respect. You don't deserve respect, you earn it. So I always tell people that being a woman, I think I would rather be a woman than be a man. Oh yes. And that's why I keep telling girl children that, let me tell you that you're a woman, you're special. And I want us to keep telling them this kind of thing. You see, this month is going to be a fun month. But like they say, knowledge is power. If you don't let the girl child know that she's important to society, who else is going to tell them?
A lot of times when we talk about women's celebration, some think it's all about, carrying the roses as a bunch on our head, having a good time and all of that. I think very importantly, it's a time to create awareness, in the girl child, in the adult women, that we must be heard. A lot of times I was going through something. Somebody said, when a woman is talking, she's arrogant. When she's trying to get things done well, she's arrogant, she's bossy. But for the same character, the same attitude, a man is just being assertive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on? You know? So meanwhile, I keep saying, if you go back to the home front, the men drop the money on the table and perhaps go away, for those who can anyway. The women, the women are the ones really ruling the house. How do we begin to make our girl child to understand that their voice is the power to change the family, to change the home?
I think for me, I believe in self-esteem. One of the easiest ways to build a child to become a productive woman, a productive member of society, is to build her self-esteem. I've heard people who tell me that as children, their mothers will say, well, this is how you do in your husband's house, small thing, is this. And when you make a child grow up to believe that all she can be is a wife.
Somebody's wife.
And that is it. Wife of so-so person. What? That's all. I think it's demeaning to the gender. Raise daughters who know that they are capable of anything in the world. They are going to play many roles. As wife, as mother, as friend, as daughter, as inventors, as pilots. Because I tell people, look, there are women who will never marry. I have friends who have never married. And some people will die and will still not marry. So if you say your whole life is going to be hinged on being married, what if you don't get married? The day my daughter said, they did something, I said, when I get married, I was disappointed, to be honest. I swear to God, I was disappointed because I have been raising her to become this amazing person who is going to change the world, who is going to contribute to Nigeria and the world. I'm not saying, of course I want my daughter to get married. But at 12, I want her to think of doing great things. Yes.
That's not what you should be looking forward to.
And then the sad part of it was she was saying rich man. I said, oh God in heaven.
It reminds me of a vox pop they did in secondary school girls. And they were asking them, what would you like to be in the future? That one said, I want to be first lady, governor's wife. And I'm like, what happened to be
Breaks my heart.
an accountant? What happened to be a
What
lawyer?
happens to being governor?
What happens to being governor? So you can have the first wife.
Then you can have governor's husband.
Yes. Let's let him.
What's the question? Or I'm just contributing.
Just go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I think that mothers should, or even parents, because it takes, if you're lucky enough to be in a two-parent home, parenting should not be on only one person's shoulders, as is usually the case in many homes. There's this thing that, I don't know, maybe it's because we carry for 9 months. It's almost as if you are the person, the mother is the primary person who is responsible for shaping that child. That should not be the case. I think it's a two-man job, or a man-woman job, as the case may be. And it is important to be able to get your kids to a place where they are able to talk to you reasonably freely.
True.
I think it is important to be able to sit down and gist with your kids from time to time.
Yeah.
True.
Most of us have demanding schedules. I cannot run away from that. There are times you come home, you feel knackered, you feel as if somebody beat you up. The last thing you want to do is sit around and socialize. So I'm not saying, these are not conversations that should last hours and happen every day. No. You'd be shocked what a very productive 30-minute conversation with your child can bring out. You could both sit down to watch a movie.
I was just going to mention that.
And as that movie is unfolding and you people are talking, you begin to assess that child's mindset. And if the mindset is flawed, because you're not the only person that will raise your child. Your child is going to move into a social environment, and the values of that social environment will impact that child, whether you like it or not. So it goes beyond telling the child this, to trying to know what is going on in that. I use the term child loosely here, offspring. I'm not talking necessarily about minors. The picking where you born. It could be of any age. Just try to understand the person's mindset and then have conversations around that. Try to understand where that mindset is coming from, why the person feels that way. Share your own views and try to be persuasive about it if you feel that your child is coming from a wrong place. You understand? So we grew up in a generation where, for the most part, children were seen and not heard. Sometimes you couldn't even ask questions. You would be seen as being forward or naughty or
Rude.
things like that, or rude. You couldn't even ask questions. But I think that if there are parents that are still holding on to that style of parenting, you are going to alienate your kids, and particularly your daughters. And daughters get preyed upon.
True.
I'm sure we know this.
Yeah.
It's not even something that is peculiar to Nigeria. It is a global issue. So as parents, you need to find a way to break down the barriers that prevent you from having healthy conversations, particularly with your daughters.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, when you were talking, I was smiling because incidentally, I grew up in a completely different scenario. I was one of those that will always go in and chat with my daddy's friends, you know, and they often told me, slow down, but my father would say, let her talk, you know. So growing up, I had a lot of conversation with elders, and I know how positively it impacted on me because I learned a whole lot about adulthood while I was still underage, a minor.
In fact, what I said does not even apply to me. I'm just
Yes, I
making
know.
No, I want to correct something. I grew up in a home that had a vastly, something similar to what you're describing. In my own case, if my father gave me an instruction and I didn't try to find out more about it, he would call me and say, I have never asked you to do this, this, this. Today I told you to do it, and you didn't even ask me why. So I grew up in a home with a father who would demand that I should ask questions. Unfortunately, bringing that into the society we live in, I received a lot of pushback. I'm called argumentative, I'm called rude, I'm called arrogant.
It goes back to what I said earlier.
I was schooled by a father who demanded I ask questions and demand answers. And for the most part, that was because he would give me instructions and tell me why he wanted me to do something. So on those occasions when he didn't follow up with a why, he would expect me to ask, Daddy, why did you ask me to do? But I use that approach today, and people are like, oh, you know, you're so rude. You always want to have the last word. No.
You must speak. You know, funny enough,
You
just like
must
me,
speak.
I was raised. My mother raised me to stand for what is right and what I believe in. Even means standing alone. So I was raised to have a voice to speak. So for me, to be honest, when I meet other women who talk about, you know, when do I told not to talk, I find it hard to, to understand, because I was raised to speak. Not just for myself. When I see something that is wrong,
Yes.
and affecting another person, it's my duty
You
to
can't
correct
do
it.
wrong to somebody in my presence.
But you see, I think all of us are the same. All of us sitting here are the same. But mine was even my father. Because I always used to wonder, why do you people like to bring down the girl child? You don't talk, the man is right, whether he's wrong, he's right, is this, is that. My father said, no, stand for what you believe in. If it's the last thing, stand. If people want to leave you or don't want to be friends with you,
let them go.
Because this is what you stand for, so be it. What's the big deal? If you come back home, and that's why most of the time he used to quote some certain things in the Bible. You know, he always used to tell me. And I think that is why I'm living a very beautiful life, like you said.
Exactly.
Some people might not get married. And I always tell a girl child, it's good to get married. All my siblings are married. But don't make it your, you know, I told somebody, getting married is not going to take you to heaven.
Yeah.
True.
It could even take you to hell.
Well,
Exactly.
but the point here is the girl children should go past, I'm going to be married. See, I believe that a girl child should fight for what she believes in, whether society accepts it or not.
Regarding marriage, I always tell my daughters that marriage is good only when you meet the right person for you.
True.
If you don't meet the right person for you, try
could be
and
hell on
live
earth.
a single healthy life. Yes, because one of the fastest ways to end up in an early grave is being yoked to the wrong person.
A toxic marriage.
You know, at the fear of not sounding as if we're encouraging people to stay single, St. Paul said it.
Yes.
That if you cannot, you know, stay single, go and marry. But then, for him, he thinks it's actually better to be single because
Exactly.
it gives you an opportunity to ventilate peace of mind and then to worship God the way you should. So I know earlier on when we started, I tried to show us, the NTA Women's Party. Director, do you have it now? I want to show them. Let's see it as it's rolling. I want to show them what the men did. Okay, that was the party. The women actually had fun.
Did get crushed?
And yes, we did. We did fun. In fact, we're celebrating ourselves. Everybody was surprised. There was nothing to celebrate. And we just say, thank God it is us. That's our EDP dancing.
Yeah.
You see, everybody was a babe that day. So it was fun. And the men tried to come in by all means. You can see one decided to do camera work. In fact, the one that blew my mind was a man who walked in wearing veil.
Okay.
Veil.
A veil?
Yes. Oh. And I asked, he said his name is Olanatu. You know? can I just show them what Ola did that day? If he's ready, he said his name is Olanatu. And the other one was, that's it, you see? He had to come in because we say men should not come in. He had to wear a veil. Oh, wow. It's okay. So
it's always good to see women.
Then I want to, jump into the next segment of our discussion with the little story I was given, this morning as I came. Though I know the person, it was the man himself that called me up to, share the story because he saw a promo. He said that when he gave birth, or when the wife gave birth, he's a father. They had 5 girls and no boy. And that he told the wife, he kept threatening the wife to go with the kids. The woman never left. Now, instead
he kept
of training,
threatening to kick her out of the
yes,
marriage.
any small quarrel, say, leave my house with your children, with your bunch of useless girls.
Wow. That's awful.
So, and the man spent most of his wealth training his sister's boys, hoping that they are the ones to inherit him and take care of him. What? Incidentally, they all grew up. The girls were now the one taking care of him.
Yeah.
He recently turned 70. So he said for his 70th birthday, his children gave him a key to a house.
Hey.
Oh.
The same daughters?
Yes. The same children,
the
daughters.
Same daughters.
Gave him key to his house, new brown duplex, and a key to a Mercedes-Benz.
Okay.
So as he was, being interviewed, that he could not help but cry. And he was, talking, he said, if you have a girl child, train your girl child. That was all he could say. So that he's using this opportunity to ensure that people don't make the same mistakes he made. Train your girl child because they are treasure. And that his sister's children are not even anywhere around him. They are busy fighting for the small thing he has left behind after training them. Meanwhile, his girl children are taking care of him full time. So I think that the girl child is a blessing, a treasure to all of us who have them. I have 3, so I'm very proud of myself. But then, let's go and find out.
I have 5.
You have 5? Devon, you're greedy.
Biological and non-biological.
All right. So I know that in making sure our voices are heard, it's important that the women, are placed in places of decision-making. One of them is our National Assembly. Let's get to Joy Nehi to find out the democratic dispensation in Nigeria so far. How has been the women participation? Ehi.
Florence Itagiwa, Daisy Denjuma, Nkechi Wob, Natasha Akpoti Ndwa. What do these names have in common, you might ask? Well, stick around and you will find out.
Do solemnly swear
that I will be faithful.
That I will be faithful.
In our present democratic dispensation, which started in 1999, under the leadership of Evan Ewerem, our Senate chambers was overwhelmingly male. Out of 109 senators, only 3 women made it through. That is less than 3%. Talk about being outnumbered. Senator Florence Itagiwa, known affectionately as Mama Bakassi, was among these numbers. She became a people favorite due to her advocacy for the displaced people of the Bakassi Peninsula. She later became President Obasanjo's special advisor on National Assembly matters. Let me tell you about Stella Omu from Delta South, a former teacher turned politician who also served during the Obasanjo's administration. She was the chief whip of the Senate and was not just there to make up the numbers. She was cracking the whip and making sure business got done. Daisy Danjuma, representing Edo South, was another notable female senator during this period. She used her office and presence to advocate for better healthcare services. With the Yaradua and Jonathan presidency, the Senate chambers witnessed a slight improvement in female senators' representation, with the likes of Grace Bent from Adamawa South, who made history as the first female senator from her state. Joy Emodi from Anambra North, who also served during the Yaradua Jonathan presidency, chaired the Senate Committee on Education. There was also Chris Anyawu from Imo East, a journalist who was imprisoned under Abacha's military regime. She brought her fighting spirit to the Senate and advocated for press freedom. Let's talk about Nkechi Nwogu, who represented Abia Central during the Jonathan years and chaired the Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance, and other financial institutions. She handled the oversight of Nigeria's banking sector during the global financial crisis. Now, that's what I call pressure. Biodun Olujimi from Ekiti South was one of the most vocal female senators under the Buhari Osibanjo presidency. She once served as Senate Minority Leader. In this 10th Assembly, under the leadership of Senator Godswill Akpabio, the Senate chambers include 4 female senators, which is still a small number, but they are boldly representing diverse regions. One of whom is Natasha Akpoti Udwara from Kogi Central, a new face in the chambers, who has had a hard-fought political journey to the Senate. Her electoral battles since inception alone could fill an entire episode of our show. But what is politics without drama? Just before we return to the studio, here is a chat of our female representation at the Federal House from 1999 till date.
I'm shaking my head because I don't know. We are supposed to be going like this, but I see us going like this. And I'm asking why, because we have the number, we have the population. Is it Sarah Jibril kind of a thing?
Excuse me, women can't even support women.
That's what I say.
Yeah, so the thing here is, basically, is money. You must have money to do politics in Nigeria.
True.
If you don't have money, you can't do politics.
Very true.
And I think the other problem is the supposed godfathers are the ones that are churning in women who can run. And I think in Nigeria it's kind of difficult. Bringing you out has many crossroads. So sometimes are you willing to do what the men do
effortlessly
to get to that position? So it's a big question.
What are the things men do other than campaign and...
Excuse me? I don't agree with you. It's not just campaigning. You see, to be a woman in Nigeria is such a difficult thing. Let's not pretend that stuff is happening. One, sorry to say, the juju, what do you call those things? You have to swear.
Witchcraft.
You have to be in a cult. You have to
Really?
Oh, yes.
You have to be in a cult to be a politician.
Oh, yes.
I've heard that thing, but...
Oh, yes. I will never forget Ngige years ago.
Oh, yeah, that
when
was public.
That was, it was public. And the thing here is that it's happening. The thing is that we pretend.
No, to be honest,
Yeah.
Joy, it was not, Ngige Mata was not a cultic. It was basically he had to swear because, he was going to bankroll his campaign and get him elected. So
No, he had to swear.
That's the occult now.
That's the
They
cult.
went
He
to
had
a
to swear.
shrine,
They went to a
you know?
shrine. He had to swear. And let me tell you, this thing is happening. You see, we heard Ngige's own because he said it. There are so many governors, even people in positions, who have to swear.
There was one too about Theodoji or something.
Yes, Theodoji's own. Even,
Okija.
you know, yeah, there's so many. You know, sometimes you shouldn't come out and start naming names, you know, but...
No, but these things played out in the public
Yeah,
arena,
you know, and all that.
It's not like
yeah,
you're revealing anybody's
Well,
family
sometimes when you come out, it's as if you're the first person to have opened your mouth to say it. So now, sexual harassment.
Yeah.
Most of these women are married. So, excuse me, can you do those things?
Swear?
Is
They
it?
can swear?
No, not swearing.
Okay.
About, most of the time, you either have to, you know, do certain things and you know you're married. Is it right? Is it wrong? Are you going to continue? What will your husband say if he hears? And all that. So, the society itself, it's very harsh. Because most of the time, it's even the women who you expect to support you that are going to downplay you. They are the ones that condemn you. They are the ones that say stuff about you. So the thing here is that if the woman can't support a woman, is it a man that is going to support her? Definitely no.
You know, one of the things I know happens in politics is, I'm not a politician, but I've often heard some women, they say, I can't do the midnight meetings.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, why must the meetings always be in the night? But before I go to that, Devon, you worked with the National Assembly as a correspondent for a while.
I worked with NTA.
With
as the
NTA.
National Assembly correspondent.
Okay, so a National Assembly correspondent for a while, and I know that you're quite, you know, conversant with some of the things that go there. You know, I don't know about now, but then you were.
Yeah.
Can you relate to why our numbers are dropping? Anything we don't know?
No, this one is not even about the National Assembly. It's about politics in general, and I think Joy has said much of it. One, you need good money. You need good money. Yes, you find the odd politician that managed to make it through without really, but it's rare. It's very rare. For the most part, you need money, even if it's simply for logistics.
And I forgot, you actually contested.
Yes.
Okay, so we're
you,
talking to the right person.
Yes, you need funds, even if it's just for logistics. But it goes beyond that. You know, you have to
What
be
are the monies
nice to people.
used for? I'm curious.
First of all, I said logistics. You're going to move around a lot to campaign. That you are going to have a train of vehicles following you around. That also helps. Your campaign
Is
team.
it for security purpose?
Well, you have to show that, first of all, politics is a game of numbers. So you don't show up for campaigns with just you and one random person. The higher up the ladder you plan to go, the bigger your campaign team has to be. So somebody who is running for local government councillor, for instance, you might have just 2 or 3 friends following you around to help you do stuff. But certainly you cannot put that person on the same level as somebody who is running for governor. You are looking at the entire state. You're going to have a campaign manager, the local government area. You're going to have campaign managers per ward, you know, depending on how much money you have. And the more structured you are, the more money you are going to spend. These people that you are sending out, you cannot be everywhere at the same time. Your campaign team has to help you. You will mobilize them. They are not going to bring out money out of their pockets to start transporting themselves around when it is your own ambition that they are running around for. So there's so many things that you have to bring money out for. Then when it's time for you to buy your form, those forms are not cheap.
Some parties actually make it cheap for women.
Cheaper is different from cheap.
Cheaper, okay.
Okay, so if the gubernatorial form, the form for governorship, is going for 5 million, and they sell it to women for 4 million, is that cheap or cheaper? It's just cheaper. It's cheaper by 1 million, but it's not cheap. And that is also a way of weeding out people that should not be in that space. Yeah. You understand? So it's not, you need money. You need money. You are going to need money also for publicity. Then you will need to oil a few palms here and there.
That's the part.
Yes,
that's where the money is.
No,
all these other ones
you are talking.
They're not serious money.
You're going to need people to be, you're going to need to be nice to people. You're going to need to try to buy people over, you know. Sometimes you can woo people over from the opposing side, from your opponents, even from opposing parties, if you think that there are strong people that you need to have in your corner. You're going to have bodyguards, and not be police. You're going to take them from among the local
Even the police.
youth, as the case may be. Relax that in. I know it's how they talk.
Police.
Yeah, I know what I'm saying.
You must pay police too.
Leave that thing.
You're talking to
I didn't say
candidates.
you should not do it. I said the ones that will follow you around, no go be police is ineffective. When I read.
Police is
Yes.
Not, it's not.
Ineffective when I read. First of all, they're not even meant to be following you around. So it means that you went and did.
But are they not following?
I said they are not, meant to
Okay,
be.
all right,
There's a difference between that and what's actually going on.
All right.
So if you really want proper bodyguard, now youth, now they carry you, no be police. Yeah? Because I know that when I tried to do that, the youth in my locality, they told me, we've been seeing your moves now, we're just laughing because by the time we seize that guy's rifle, you will know between him and us who is the real security.
Oh, wow.
So I ended up using youth and left police to rest.
Okay, now I'm wondering, still what I asked earlier, the inner caucus meeting they often had, hold for politicians. You contested, for the federal house in Benue State, and I'm wondering, how were you able to manage that? And alongside, I also need you to talk about the women that supported you, what Joy was talking about. Did the women, did they attack you or did they support you?
No, I was not attacked by women. You see, politics is a game of numbers. As a woman going into politics, you are not going into politics to go and represent women anywhere. You are going into politics to represent a constituency that constitutes men, women, youth, children, the disabled. We are representing everybody. So you don't go into politics as I am a woman. You go into politics as a person that is contesting for an office. Okay? But so you will woo women, you will woo men, you will woo youth, market people, stakeholders, you will woo everybody. So there's nothing like focusing on women. You want to know what women... There are women that will speak bad of you. There will be men that will speak bad of you. There will be youth that will speak bad of you. Your capacity to carry people along is what you need as a politician, regardless of your sex. You don't go into politics as a woman. You go into politics as a person. And if I'm going to be frank, in my case, I think being a woman at the local level helped me. But at the party level, it caused me issues. Because the electorate didn't mind. They didn't mind. The men didn't mind. The women didn't mind. They were like, listen, we've seen what... And then they named one or two other women that were doing very well for their people. I mean, you guys go out there, you come back, you bring the money, you spend it on us. You're looking after us. You're doing far better than our men. They go there, they start doing something else. They're chasing women, and we don't see them until it's time for the next campaign. But you women, when you go there, you remember us. At the electorate level, they didn't mind. You know,
why are you laughing?
No, but it's true.
I'm
just repeating what I heard.
No, it's a fact, but it's a reality. Nobody's arguing. We're just laughing.
No, we're just laughing.
You know, so they didn't mind. Men and women alike, they didn't mind. But at the party level, I had some issues. And also, to be frank, being a novice, I made some mistakes
naturally
at party level. Okay. You know, so I need to erase this notion that, oh, I was doing everything so perfectly and the party did not. I goofed in a number of places. If I were to do things afresh, I would certainly have a different strategy.
True.
But excuse me, can I say something?
Yeah.
With the you that I know,
Yeah.
I think you're like this. You're strict.
I am.
So, you see,
In
and I know
politics.
that in politics, when you are like this,
you go hard.
it's difficult. Let's
Which is true.
Yeah, because with politics, you have to go this way, this way, this
You
way.
have to
Very,
lie.
very
The
true.
you that I know,
Straightforward.
You know, and it saddens my heart is that it's people like you that are supposed to be in office because you do the right thing.
You know, there's this Oyibo saying that fools rush in where angels fear to tread, or something like that.
Yeah.
If I had known as much then as I know now about politics, I wouldn't have gone near the place.
Okay.
I went in ignorantly.
You see,
I went in as if I was going.
Happy.
Yeah,
She
no,
went
seriously.
in because she wanted to serve.
I went in like you go looking for a job.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm qualified. I know how to do this.
Sorry,
I know this. I
it
know
doesn't
this. I
work
know
that way with
this.
politics.
But the truth is, my kind of personality doesn't blend well with party politics.
Let's chop knock.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we have the lawyer joining us from Jabi. I don't know, Director, have you been able to establish links? Let's say hello to her. It was difficult trying to get through, but I think I'm told that she's ready for us. Director, can you hear me? We can't see her. If you can get her, let's see, because she needs to respond to certain things. But then while that is going on, okay, so good morning, Barrister.
Good morning, Lizzie.
Nice
good
to
morning
have you
to
join
the
us.
team, our viewers, listeners. I really regret all of the challenges that we've encountered this morning.
Don't worry. We're going to make sure that we keep you here for a very long time and you get to answer a lot of questions. But then you also raise another thing, that women refuse to speak because sometimes, or women refuse to be very audible because sometimes they complain of being harassed sexually or something. And that brings to mind what is going on at the moment. You know, I want to have the opinion of the barrister here regarding what is going on, the saga in the National Assembly at the moment. Some people have spoken that the senator shouldn't have come out to say things like that. You know, it wasn't very good because she's already in a high place, you know, and some people say it's okay. But let's see, from the legal perspective, what should she have done? Did she break any law, Barrister?
No law that I can immediately think of. Sexual harassment is sexual harassment, and you can raise it. I think what a lot of people have said is, well, about maybe the manner in which, you know, it has been raised. You know, we live in a society where people like to be pretentious. This is unfortunately what it is. And people, even though we say we want women to speak up, a lot of times we actually don't like women to speak up.
Yeah.
People don't like to appear as though they are being embarrassed and all of that. I've listened to a few people comment, especially members of the Senate as well. Oh, you can't drag the Senate into disrepute. You can't drag. She's not alleging anything against the Senate. She's alleging something against an individual. So I don't know how that will now amount to dragging the Senate into disrepute. Granted, there might be some official processes and procedures to be followed, maybe in raising any issue. But a crime is a crime. Sexual harassment is a crime under our laws, especially here in the FCT where the Senate operates. The Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act clearly, you know, identifies sexual harassment as a crime. So she has a right to even go straight to the police to lodge a complaint. She has a right to go straight to the court to file an action, you know. So it all depends on the mechanism she has, you know, decided to adopt. You may have 1, 2, 3, 4 routes to deal with an issue. It is for you as the complainant to decide which one you will follow. So, yes, it may not the optics, which is what our people are always concerned about. Optics, oh, how he looks. They may not like how he looks, but it is her choice. What the law, the obligation that the law imposes on her is to substantiate her allegations. that's a different matter entirely. She must substantiate her allegations. Now, when she's not able to substantiate her allegations, that is when she now opens herself up to even some legal consequences.
All right, now you talk about substantiating, and I'm wondering, you know, a lot of times we seem to not understand what constitutes sexual harassment. Workplace, at home, on the streets, in church. What are the things, advances, touch, talk, what are the things that, you know, I can see and group and, you know, target sexual harassment on either a woman or a girl child?
So sexual harassment is not exhaustive. That's to say you have a list of everything that's, you know, a closed list of what sexual harassment is. It's a very, very omnibus terminology, very wide, and more often than not has to do with improper conduct. Improper conduct, you know, especially in official spaces. And if somebody is in some position of influence or authority. So sexual harassment can be what you say, it can be what you do, it can be what you insinuate, it can be what you suggest, it can be anything at all. But it all has to be taken in the context in which it occurs. Is this improper? Why would you be saying to someone, oh, as alleged, well, don't worry, you will like it, I will take care of you, you will this, you know, now that you're here, yes, we will have a good time, all of those things. There's no basis whatsoever for that kind of comment to even come up at all, because you are in a professional environment and there are ethics that are supposed to regulate that interaction. So once you go outside of the ethical conduct that is required, then it can be a case of sexual harassment.
All right, I'm still going to stay on you a little bit because sexual harassment is rearing its ugly head as we speak. Could this very act be the reason why the Nigerian women are stifling their voices or maybe getting their voices muffled in terms of being heard? Because I know that most countries that are developed, if you look around, the women are the forefronts, you know, of ensuring that the development does happen. Could it be this fear of being harassed, abused, or called names that is pushing us back to, you know, the back?
A lot of times, yes. And even if you look at the domestic situation too, is also part of the big problem. Even in cases like the last time I was here, we talked about sometimes men, husbands, not wanting their wives to go out there in the public space to walk and all of those things. A lot of times is insecurity is at the root of that. And the insecurity emanates from their fear of the nature of conduct the woman may be exposed to when you go out there. Because that innate distrust is there. You don't trust the fellow man. You may not have a problem with the woman, you trust the woman, but you don't trust the behavior of the opposite sex that she would more often than not encounter. So it's not just about what Senator Natasha has raised. It is everywhere. In schools, remember there was a time that it was a big problem in the university space. And right now, there's even a professor of law that is undergoing trial at the Federal High Court concerning this issue of sexual harassment. It is there in the workplace. Even in the legal space, for us lawyers too, sexual harassment, even in the workspace, in the legal space, has also been a big headache. Is something is on the front burner, something that we are talking about, and even a committee was set up to, you know, develop a policy around it. So it appears even in the church, in the religious space, everywhere. So it's something that has pervaded every facet of our life, you know. And yes, a lot of times when women think about this, and it seems to be even worse in the political space. Yeah. For many, many decades, this has been one of the things that a lot of women have said, oh, when you consider all of this, apart from the money, all of these are also issues that have kept women away from all of this. They tell you politics is a dirty game. Politics is a dirty game, the general saying. It is a cocktail of all of these issues. Yes, so all of it contributes to women, remaining repressed, because a lot of times when you think about the scenario, you say, I don't have the stomach for this. Even sometimes when you find the courage to go, your family may not support you. Your spouse may not support you because they have all of these concerns, and they are valid concerns.
All right, let's have a coach talk on this a little bit. How can we get, you mentor people a lot, women mostly, like how can we get our women to be more vocal? Do you have any coaching on that, to be more vocal? Because we bottle up a lot.
To be honest, you see, to be more vocal about the political space and more vocal
whatever
as a
you are,
person,
because we want to change the nation, we want to make it better.
I think it has a lot to do with self-esteem, how you already feel about yourself. And I think, excuse me, like she said, women are actually vocal. But the truth is, they rot in our society. We speak about it, just that we don't speak about it on air. There were things we were discussing, we cannot even say it again here. Let's be honest. So you see, men, at the risk of sounding like but the truth is, many more men are in positions of power. So I don't know how women would have done it if they had the same power. But men in positions of power and money, sex is almost a given. We have people who have shared stories, coppers, young girls, young women, old women, of so-called people that we see on TV and we refer to as the heads and, people we should respect about the sexual things they have done and escapades. This is a sad reality. So it's not new. Whether or not this is true about Senator Natasha, of course, this is an allegation. It's going to be proven in court or whatever. But it is a sad reality that this happens every day. Do women speak up? Of course not. Because look at someone like Senator Natasha who did speak up.
Yes.
What are we hearing? Other women are coming. I'm not saying a senator is right or wrong. I don't know. We went there.
Yeah.
But the possibility of that happening is real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is real. So many women have spoken about it, but we don't speak about it on air. There is hardly a woman who can stand and say she has never been harassed.
It's impossible.
It's impossible. Everybody here has been harassed.
Even if you are locked up in the house,
somebody
that random relative that doesn't have sense will come to the house and come and do something.
So this is a reality that women face. So we are always, I don't know, I'm thinking about myself, you're always guarded. You're always guarded not to smile too much, not to talk too much, so that the person will not misunderstand and send you a nasty text. Because this is our reality.
Thank you.
And it is even more so with men in power.
Yeah.
You go to an organization, they will tell you, this is, Oga is sleeping with that one. He's sleeping with that one. Hey, this was Oga's girlfriend. This was Oga's... This is the reality. You live in a neighborhood. There's, that woman. You see that Nika, is that MD that bought it for her? You see those children, they are his 9 Pekin. So this is what we all see. We cannot say it.
You see
because
what,
somebody's father,
you see
somebody's
what
brother, is somebody's
what
husband.
Coach is saying about smiling. I had to do a Facebook post, and not Facebook, I think TikTok. I asked men, I said, we cannot be warm and civil with you guys anymore. You smile just because you want to be approachable. You don't want to look like you are this stiff, unyielding person that doesn't know how to even be civil. And a man thinks you are hitting on him. Why? I'm smiling at you to be polite. I'm always told that I have a frowny face and everything.
Yeah,
so my default, I'm stern, I look stern. So my default setting as I'm entering any environment, be it men there, I just throw on a smile regardless of how awful my day is. I'm not smiling because I'm smiling at Yakubu or John, as the case may be. I'm smiling at you as a human being that I'm trying to be civil and pleasant with.
True.
I'm not trying to make I don't like you, it's not that deep.
Do you know, let me butt in. You guys are very lucky because you're married. In this system that we're in Nigeria, if a single girl opens her mouth,
Voila.
it beats me. That's why she's single. Useless ashawo. You know, we're so good in calling names. Even the taxi drivers are very good in calling names. You see, the advantage the senator has is that she's married.
Yeah. Hey, if she was not married. Hey, wahala.
If that lady was not married,
Very supportive husband.
Yes, I remembered when she wasn't married, when our governor
contested.
went after her. Oh, useless woman, irresponsible woman. This, people are forgetting, what has she done for her society? Is she that good? You know, we forget about, and you see the thing about that senator is from my state. I love her. This is a woman, beauty and brains.
True.
She is beautiful, whether you like it or not. Now she got married.
To a caring husband.
No, see, let me tell you, a man that is going to marry a woman like Natasha, Senator Natasha, has to be up there. Because if you're not up there, you're going to be under. And that's the truth. Because he already knew this is her path. Are you willing to support that path or not? That senator cannot be subdued. Sorry. But you see, one thing I love about her is that she respects her husband because he has earned it, not because he has deserved it. The thing about the senator is that she said something. And the way she reacted is, I think there was a process. And that was why she reacted that way. Yesterday, I listened to a senator, and I wept for this country. You go on air telling lies. She's married, she has 6 kids for 6 different fathers.
Oh, wow.
That is not the point.
Wow.
And these people do these things because they are looking for favors from the people who are up there. And the thing that saddens my heart is that most of these people have girl children. What example are you giving to your girl children?
It's really sad. And we have so many males here. I wish I can take a lot of them, even though from my observation, they're all talking about the Senator Natasha. But let me just read this one. It says, please, kudos to you in the studio, and please, greetings to our Senator Natasha. Keep fighting. We're all behind you. Anyway, my show is not for Senator Natasha, so I won't read all of this. We're talking about making sure our women are heard. And I'm going to go back briefly this time to the barrister to find out what else can we do, legally speaking, to ensure that the girl child and women are heard the way they should be. Because I know that there's a lot more in the women. I'm not saying the men don't have, but there's a lot more in the women.
Well, we just keep advocating for it. We have to keep speaking up, you know. The backlash is unfortunate, and that's why a lot of people keep quiet. But you can't make any progress if you stay repressed. Yes. And I just wanted to mention that, you know, at the root of all of this is disrespect. And this is what has escalated to this level. What's occurred on the floor of the Senate was a very disrespectful thing. Because, you see, there's no reason why some courtesy could not have been extended to Senator Natasha. The decision to reallocate or reassign the seat did not happen that morning. You did it. A simple email or message to her would simply, distinguished senator, for so reason, we have had to reassign a seat to you, you know, like that, blah, 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 courtesy. And when if she had had that prior information, when she entered into the chambers that morning, her reaction would have, I am sure, would have been totally different. But because of this very disrespectful manner in which we operate generally in this country, and particularly as we treat women, they just thought that she could just come into the Senate, the chambers, and you just say to her, oh, you can't sit here, sit over there, like a classroom. I don't know. I started thinking to myself, is this place a classroom? You know, and I think that it's also, maybe they will seize this opportunity to begin to review their rules in that place. Because to my mind, just observing, it seems to grant the Senate president very extensive powers, you know. Because even when the issue was raging, you saw the way he said, oh, the sergeant at arms should walk her away. Yes. As though she had no business being there, you know. So that's totally unacceptable. This is somebody who has been elected by her people to come there. And even from what I see, the way the rules allow the Senate president to conduct proceedings, he can actually successfully frustrate her or anybody for that matter. Because if you're not acknowledged to speak, you cannot, say anything. You cannot represent your people. You cannot make contributions. So I'm beginning to wonder, is the procedure, the protocol they follow in that place, to my mind, seems to be actually contrary to the constitutional role that the senators should play in that place.
Thank you so much, Barrister. We're speaking democracy, and democracy means all-inclusive. Our time is out. One sentence.
Somebody asked me yesterday, Coach Didi, if you were Natasha, would you have spoken up about what happened with the Senate President? I said, I'll tell her. I said, no, I will not. Let's be realistic. Okay. Look, you need to have thick skin.
To be able to do that.
To be able to do what she's doing. She's even brave, believe me, to even stand, because look at the backlash.
All right, it's okay. Thank you so much. We know that she's setting an example. Whether or not it favors her is inconsequential. The basic thing is that as a woman, she's speaking out. And women, we must speak out. Wherever you are, try to ensure that you're doing the right thing, very importantly, doing the right thing, and then when you're being oppressed, open your mouth and say it, because that way, you're not just saving your life, you're saving the lives of people around you, including your children, and the children yet unborn. Nigeria is ours, and Nigeria belongs to both male and female. We'll continue to celebrate women on this set for another 4 weeks, and we wish that you find time to sit with us. We're going to be talking a whole lot next week, perhaps on health.
Are we having International Women's Party?
Yes, International Women's Party. We should have more parties.
Yes, no.
All right, bye.
Let's go to Blake and then celebrate women.